So this was quarterfinals, me versus Daniel. It started with him playing King's Pawn opening. I responded, King's Knight. I responded, and then I was expecting Roy Lopez. Bishop comes down here, attacking my knight, of which then I would push this pawn. But he didn't do that. Instead, he played, I think it's Italian game, and he's attacking this square here. I was expecting the knight then to come down here, further putting more pressure on here. So to avoid that, I pushed my pawn, and then, oh yes, I also just realized that I didn't actually need to push this pawn yet, because the knight can't come down here because the queen would take, and well, he has to push this pawn first, possibly to the center, so as the bishop can cover the knight coming down here. Anyway, I just stopped that right there in its tracks by pushing my pawn here to stop the knight from coming in. Then he castled, I developed. He swung his rook over. This is telling me he's attacking this line. My king isn't castled yet. It's going to take at least 2 more moves for me to castle, get to safety. And if he were to push the center pawn here, attacking this pawn here, if I were to take, then he would push this pawn, and that would be quite bad because it opens up the rook file, attacking my king. So I developed my bishop, trying to prevent the pawn push. He did a Ponziani, creating the supporting pawn so he could push the center pawn. And I just developed, tried to get my bishop out. He, of course, did the center pawn push. I took. I thought it would be a good idea to take, because let's say I move my bishop to safety, let's say down to here, and then pawn takes, let's say knight takes, and then knight takes, and then pawn takes, and then queen comes down check, and king is forced to take, so I can't castle. So I didn't want that to happen, so I took the pawn. So I took, and then I just moved my bishop to safety. Here, and I also attacked the rook. I was expecting not really the bishop, I was expecting the knight to come down here, because if I exchange my bishop for the knight, he keeps his nice pawn structure, 3 pawns in the center just charging down on me. Now he pushes the pawn. This was a bit unexpected. I thought it was a blunder, actually. So I took the rook. He took my knight, and this is possibly where I blundered. For some strange reason, I thought my bishop was dead. Or actually, no, I didn't want him to take the bishop with check, because I feel like myself being in check puts me down a move. So let's say, for example, I castled now. Queen could take, and he doesn't take with check, and then queen takes back the pawn. But I was thinking, well, why castle now if I can just, if my bishop is dead, I might as well bring a pawn down with me. So I took the pawn, and he's forced to take back because he's in check. And then I take the pawn, and also I save my pawn structure. Now he comes with check, but that's fine. I'm going to block with the knight. I thought of blocking with the bishop, but that's really bad. It looks good because it develops my bishop, but it's really bad because then he pushes the center pawn, and the bishop is pinned, and there is a massive fork happening. So instead I move my knight to save that, castle to safety. Bishop comes out, develop. Now, I think this was a blunder by Daniel. I actually pushed this pawn here, not just to cover the knight from coming in, but also the main thing is to prevent the bishop from having this nice line coming in. So I pushed the pawn here. And so Daniel really, another thing as well is I pushed the pawn here to prevent this center pawn push. And it really makes this bishop kind of useless from coming in and attacking my queen. So I did that. So double whammy. And bishop comes out. I developed my knight. I was looking to attack the center pawn.